Filipino food is shaped by how we celebrate and what we believe, from Christmas tables to Ramadan feasts. Faith flavors everything. Today, let's dig into that. Hello, Simple Peeps. I'm Chef Tatung, and welcome to our new podcast, Our Shared Roots on Simple.ph, where we dig into stories that connects us. In the previous episode, we explored the stories behind our favorite Filipino street food classics. This time, we're diving into how faith and celebration shape Filipino cuisine, from Christmas feasts to the Ramadan traditions. Today, I'm joined by my good friend, food explorer and storyteller, and the Philippine Ambassador for the World Food Travel Association, Klang Garcia. Klang, welcome to our podcast.
Mabuhay!
Mabuhay!
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
And this long time coming, I'm happy that you have a podcast so you can share more of your passion.
Yeah,
to
and
so
also
many
it's a
people.
platform for us. Tayong
Yes.
magkakaibigan, pero mas una tayong naging parang contemporaries in the field of cultural work
Yes.
and advocacy and all that. And our friendship is really rooted in that kind of advocacy, di ba?
Correct.
Yan. So, I'm so honored that you have joined us. Napakalayo na nang naabot mo since we met, di ba?
Mas lalo ka na.
Pareho
lalo
tayo
ka
na lang
na.
kasi sobrang tagal din namin. Kasi when we were starting
Oo,
talaga,
we were really starting.
we were really starting
Oo,
from scratch. And today, you are now the Philippine Ambassador, di ba? Ibang level na yun.
Yeah.
Can you tell us about that?
Well, I've been doing a lot of research across the Philippine archipelago about our heritage food and all that. And at the same time, I encourage people to travel because there's something about travel that changes you, you know? When you taste a new ingredient and heritage dishes.
And when you meet the people.
And when you meet the people and immerse yourself in different indigenous communities. So, ibang level yon. So, parang ako, I have been advocating gastronomy tourism for the longest time. Parang feeling ko, wala akong katulad in terms of doing it on a national level.
Yeah.
Because if there's, for example, an international chef or author who wants to do a research along Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, I can do that.
Yeah.
No one does that like
And
me.
I think your
Merong
work...
Ivan Mandi, you have the Binondo,
Yeah.
ganun. Pero yung national, dapat meron tayong ganun eh.
At saka, I also think and I believe and I know that even before may mga travel vloggers and all that, nandun na tayo. Nandun ka na doing what you were
in a
doing.
quiet sphere.
In a quiet sphere. But you're doing more, hindi naman siya totally academic, but more academic in the sense that there's proper documentation.
Yes.
And all license, and you're also dealing with a lot of international organizations, local international organizations, to really tell your story and to pursue your advocacy. Yan. So ito, napaka-interesting kasi ng conversation natin today. Kasi parang when we talk of Filipino cuisine, ngayon kasi in the last decade, mas nagiging inclusive na yung understanding natin ng Filipino food. No? Like for example, in the past decades, hindi masyado napapag-usapan yung food cultures ng Islamic brothers natin and sisters, di ba? And not only that, but also sa mga indigenous natin na mga
communities,
diba?
nakakalimutan.
Oo. So, right now, when we talk of Filipino food, mas malawak na yung understanding natin, mas malawak na rin natin yung naintindihan, yung diversity, and appreciation. Pero though may konti pa rin parang natitirang misunderstanding or mga biases, pero mas dumadami na yung mga tao na who learn to respect yung mga practices ng iba. Yun. So, ikaw, I've seen kasi a lot of your work, you have been involved with like yung mga tao in Mindanao, di ba? Like in Lake Cebu and all that. And napaka-interesting kasi like when we celebrate our Christmases, meron tayong traditions na which have really been embedded on who we are. Pero ano yung experience mo sa mga communities na hindi naman nagpo-follow sa usual natin na Catholic traditions? Ano yung klase yung mga celebrations? Ano yung paniniwala nila na medyo has opened your eyes to a different way of seeing things?
Yung Christmas naman, hindi naman kinakailangan Christmas lang naman yung celebration ng indigenous cultural communities. And kinakailangan nating tandaan na sila ang mga unang tao, di ba? So tayo were part of the evolution. So sa kanila, they believe that there are spirits in nature. Mayroong spirit of the wind, spirit of the mountain, and then they believe in the power of that. So to honor them, it's all about offering of food, whatever you have in the surrounding. But what is very common is the suman.
So, suman
Anything
talaga.
with rice.
Anything is rice. Kasi yung based naman sa mga pagsusulat ni Tita Feliz Santa Maria, di ba, na yung rice cakes talaga were really like made in a religious context, di ba, for offering.
Correct.
And up to this day, kahit sa ating mga religious na Christian, very Christian or Catholic belief, nasasama pa rin yung rice cakes, di ba?
Correct.
Pero ano yung pinaka-significant or memorable experience mo in relation to ganong klaseng mga practices?
When I met with the Pagobo community, they cook in bamboos, no? And they harvest, the food that they prepare is whatever's within their surrounding. Wala silang grocery and all that. And by itself, every time they harvest, they also ask permission. They can pick and all that. And then, while they're cooking, they're already praying. So the prayer, whereas halimbawa sa atin Christians, we start with the prayer before we eat. Doon, in the process of
harvesting.
Harvesting pa
foraging.
lang. Yes. And then if there are guests, they also offer prayers to the guests that they may be blessed as well, and that we may be guided.
Ako, very interesting din kasi yan, di ba? Like, for example, sa ating spirituality kasi, tayo at saka yung Diyos, di ba? Ganun siya.
Yes.
Pero sila kasi parang connected, hindi nila dinenegate na may greater power, pero they're grounded in their surroundings.
Correct.
And kaya, mas naalagaan nila yung environment nila.
Right.
Like tayo, parang tayo sa Diyos, bahala na si Mother Earth. Parang ganun nangyayari. Sobrang daming. Kasi, di ba, yung during the Terra Madre, diba? Very interesting yung sa Terra Madre. Kasama kami ni Clang doon sa Terra Madre. Pero, when you go around the booths, ang daming mga indigenous na mga ingredients, mga tribo nandun, representing, cooking their dishes na
hindi natin alam.
Hindi natin alam na parang, meron palang ganito. And napaka-interesting kasi na parang, oh my God, no? Kasi nawawala na yung mga forest sa atin, nawawala yung natural environment. Tayo dito, puro na processed food and mga traded food yung na-access natin. Of course, in the eyes natin ng mga modern city dwellers, yun ang mark of sophistication.
Yes.
But sa atin, if you are grounded and you connect, ma-realize mo na po, wala na tayong ganito, wala na tayong ganyan, di ba?
Tsaka mas mahaba ang buhay nila kaysa sa atin kasi they have fresh air.
Fresh air.
Tsaka kalmado kasi when there's oxygen, it calms you down. No room for anger. Tsaka there's so much respect for divinity and that's the guiding path for them.
Well, when you started, kasi alam mo, nung nagsisimula tayo, very aggressive tayo sa ating mga career, di ba? Na really trying to build our own parang connection, collectively. Pero yung sa akin kasi like, right now kasi, di ba, after all these years, sobrang dekada, nagsimula tayo parang from the outside looking in di ba?
Correct.
But now, through the years of the immersion, interaction with the regions, how much has it changed you as a person? Di ba parang, it's a different consciousness. Nanggaling tayo sa Manila, consciousness na career ito, hanap buhay ito, ito yung ginagawa namin. But when you go into the provinces and you immerse yourself with the people, iba yung consciousness nila, hindi para sa atin. Has that changed you ngayon?
Yes.
And ano yung changes mo?
It has changed me in so many ways. And I realized that kung sino ka, pumunta ka sa ibang probinsya and you meet other people, you cannot just bring yourself. You just have to be quiet and observe and respect what they have. Yun yung naging aking mentality. Kasi ibang-iba, totally different. The way they eat, even yung mga practices. For example, when I went to the province of Samar. Sa Samar, buhay na buhay pa ang kultura. Yung mahaba yung table na pag-dinner, sabay-sabay pa sila kumakain. And then, may regular na kitchen, and then meron silang abuhan. So everybody still cooks in the abuhan. And pag pumunta ka sa kitchen, may tao, hindi isang tao, nandun pa rin yung mga 3 generations, yung mga bata, and just watching. Sa Manila kasi iba na eh, di ba?
Iba
May
na, iba
kanya-kanya
na.
ng mundo.
At saka melting pot na kasi yung
Yes.
yung Manila.
Metro
So parang
Manila.
iba-iba na yung adaptation natin ng
Yes.
mga traditions and
Correct.
all that. Medyo
Yes.
nagiging homogeneous na rin, no?
Correct.
Then, like for example, like if you talk about the lechon sa ating celebrations, lechon is kind of generic pag Filipino. If you go sa mga probinsya, iba-iba din yung luto ng lechon, di ba?
Yes.
Like I've experienced na nilalagyan ng batuan.
May sampalok,
May
dahon ng
sampalok,
sampalok.
oo.
Sarap.
Meron din iba yung cactus, di ba? Karambuaya, tama ba?
Yes.
Sa Ilocos
Yes,
area
yes,
and
yes.
all that. Pero ano ba yun siya? Is it like a reflection of biodiversity na we have one idea, then parang iba-iba yung interpretation natin kung saan man?
Siguro depende rin kung ano yung available ingredients and then kung ano yung palette, 'di ba? For example, halimbawa batuan in Negros. They love batuan eh. Tsaka bakit hindi sampalok? Because it also embodies the gentle spirit of the Negrense. Hindi sila yung bold na ganyan. And then when you go to Leyte and then Samar, they don't eat it with rice. They pair it with taro or yung saba.
Ang lechon?
Yes, on the side
Really?
walang rice.
Oh.
And then ang sausawan la, it's a spice suka. Hindi siya yung liver sauce. Pag titignan kasi natin yung Leyte and Samar, parating ang binabagyo, no? So marami silang mga root crops. So they were used to that.
Yeah, so kasi pag palay yung tanim mo, pag binagyo,
Wala
nawawala
na.
lahat.
Yes.
Pero dun kasi mga tubers, mga root crops talaga, siya yung naiiwan, especially pag bagyo kasi
Yes.
nasa ilalim siya ng
Correct.
lupa. Kaya dun mo nakikita, ano yung tawag dun, yung malaking
Yung
gabi.
Talyan.
Oo. So very, very interesting, no, na pag ikaw hindi ka taga doon, you feel na it's not Filipino kasi parang napaka-strange,
That's a learning
unusual.
experience for me.
Oo.
You cannot generalize what you think. You need to keep your mind open. Bakit ganun? And then you cannot judge it.
And also, ang dami kasi mga, like, especially in Samar, very, parang hindi siya, parang undiscovered and hindi siya masyadong nagaglamorize sa cuisine. But if you go there, ang daming mga unique recipes
Correct.
and mga
Yeah.
special, mga nakakaibang mga twist yung mga
Yes.
classics din nila, no?
Yes, oo. Tsaka it's an intersection of global history. Diyan nagland si Ferdinand Magellan na halos mamatay-matay, pinakain, hindi ba? And at some point, they were also in Capul when there used to be one summer that used to be the refilling station of the galleon trade. So you could imagine the ingredients, the flavor, and the food that landed there and indigenized by the locals.
Napaka-interesting na speaking of lechon because there's this island off Cebu, ang Bantayan Island, di ba? Where
Yung pag Good Friday.
pag Good Friday, may lechon festival kasi it's only there na may papal dispensation na pwedeng kumain ng lechon. Or else, kung hindi ka pwede kumain ng lechon, walang makain yung tao kasi puro sila mga fisher folk.
Yes.
Diba?
That's
So ako,
nakakatuwa.
napaka-interesting na relationship natin sa food bilang Filipinos, especially the mainstream Filipinos na feasting and fasting.
Yes.
What do you think of that parang practice? Hindi ba tayo parang nagiging parang split personality or
Oo. Siguro it's also a part of the religious practice that at some point we also have to sacrifice. Diba? For example, mag-Ash Wednesday ka, mag-Holy Week ka, and then, especially pag Good Friday, alam natin, nabanggit mo nga, hindi ka pwede magkarne. It's more of representation. Bakit hindi nagkakarne? Kasi it embodies Christ as the sacrificial lamb. Yun yung, di ba, yun yung Last Supper, di ba? Kaya we only have to eat vegetables. Pero yung iba naman, vegetables, pero yung mga bagagarbo. It defeats the purpose. Naalala ko yung lola ko. Every Good Friday gusto ko kasi once a year lang ako nakakain yung bacalao na imported, cooked in olive oil, tapos sinigang na sugpo sa kamyas. Parang sabi ko, Lola, parang hindi naman yata tama. Oo, di ba?
Kasi
diba?
hindi nga pork, hindi nga karne, pero
lavishness.
Lavish naman din. Pero usually, kuha naman yan, Easter Sunday naman yun. Hindi naman gagawin. Pero ako naalala ko growing up, bawal kami mag-ihaw kasi yung mukha mo daw masusunog-sunog. Yung mga bawal maligo. Di ba yung mga pamahiin sa ating mga bahay?
Oo. May ganyan nga. Pero, well, kanya-kanya na lang yan eh.
Diba? Pero very, very clear sa atin kasi may foods talaga associated with the seasons, no? So, for example, pag undas or mahal na araw, ito yung kinakain.
Right.
Pero pag sinasabi natin kasing makakanin, very spiritual din yung root niya sa Philippine culture. Kasi sabi nga ni Feliz Santa Maria na yung word tinapay, nanggaling talaga siya sa kakanin.
Yes.
Diba? Then na-translate siya, then offering siya sa mga anito, maganda. Even now, pag pumunta sa cemetery, minsan makikita mo may kandila, then may biko, then may orange, may apple. Ganon siya.
It's also a way of saying that we remember you, that we also want you to partake in our feast, diba?
Pero
it's always kasi parang it represents yung stickiness for family to be together, and at the same time, sweet for you to be joyful as well.
Pero napaka-interesting kasi in the same way, ginagamit natin siya sa mga pang-alay sa espiritu tsaka yung mga yumaon. Ginagamit din natin siya, very popular din tayo sa Pasko. Puto bumbong.
Yes.
Bibingka.
Dami, rice cakes. Oo. Tsaka, ayan, alam mo, kung Pasko na kasi naaamoy mo na siya Lumaki kasi ako malapit sa simbahan. So pag naaamoy mo yan, excited ka na, tsaka malamig na.
Saan ka ba na area lumaki?
Sa Pasay City, malapit kami sa Our Lady of Sorrows, kung saan kinasal si Ninoy at Cory.
Di ba?
May ganon. So, yan yung memories of Christmas ko na talagang gigising ka ng maaga for that. I don't even know why everybody do that. Parang ako, out of curiosity, I do that until you realize it's a form of sacrifice and at the same time honoring.
Parang panata,
yes,
di ba?
Panata, oo. Pero kasi pag tingnan natin, bakit siya maaga? Kasi nung sinaunang panahon, yung mga farmers, kinakailangan nilang makasimba,
bago. Pero may simbang gabi ba sa ibang bansa? Are you aware of it? Parang wala naman.
That's also Spain.
Spain din, no? Very, very interesting. Like, for example, sa amin, wala namang puto bumbong, di ba? It's puto maya. For the. Pero I think because of the power of media, traditional media, before social media, ang mga practices dito sa Metro Manila nagiging popular din sa mga probinsya.
Yes.
Di ba? Kasi like, for
example,
madaming
media from Manila,
then all the newspapers are busy, so they talk about the same experience, you know. Pagdating doon, naging part, naging conscious. So, in recent years, nagkakaroon na ng puto bumbong sa Cebu. Kasi yung bibingka ng Manila is very different from the bibingka sa Cebu. The bibingka of Cebu is very similar to Samar, yung bigas talaga. Di ba? Din minsan tuba yung pangpaalsa. So, iba yung flavor profile. Yung nandito kasi very cake Diba? Parang cake siya. May margarine, may
magarbo, madaming mga elements.
So, very, very different yung perspective. Isa din na rice cake na na-discover ko galing sa Malabon area. It's yung putong sulot.
Okay.
Tama ba, sulot, no?
Oo.
Puto sulot. So, para siyang puto bumbong, pero yung rice niya, buo yung rice niya. So, para siyang puto maya yung pag naluto.
Pero yung vertical lang.
So, siguro, why do some recipes become more popular than the others dahil inadapt into a commercial setting, di ba? Like, for example, sa atin sa Manila, may sikat na brand ng bibingka. So, inadapt na siya ng marami.
Yes. Siguro, I think it's also the power of media on what kung halimbawa na-feed yung information and all that.
We've seen how Catholic traditions shape what and how we eat during the season of reflection and celebration. After the break, we'll explore how food also plays a meaningful role in Islamic tradition, from fasting to feasting and the values that guide the table. In the meantime, don't forget to check out Pinasimple, available now on our online stores.
I love Pinasimple.
And we're back. So far, we've talked about yung mga traditions natin sa kakanin, sa Pasko, and all that, no? But today, we want to go a little bit down south and talk about the traditions ng ating mga Muslim brothers and sisters, no? Ano ba yung, have you ever experienced like the the Ramadan season and all that yourself?
Well, in one official convention, no, I have a friend who joined, Muslim friend. Hindi siya kumakain. Sabi ko, bakit? Kasi nag-feast ako eh. Sabi ko, ha?
Fasting.
I mean, sorry, nagpa-fast ako eh. So sabi ko, ano hanggang kailan yan? So, well, anyway, by mga 6 p.m. pwede na siyang kumain, but the whole day you eat nothing. So, I think there's some similarity with all of that. One is to praise the divinity and offer some sacrifice of yourself, whatever you can, and at the same time, you celebrate after that.
And I think naman, kung if you talk of fasting, even in the Bible, may call for fasting.
Yes.
Medyo yung mga Katoliko lang, hindi lang...
Yung
diba?
iba nga, parang
Hindi
sinasabi,
diba?
fish, pero magharbo rin yung kinakain, di ba?
Yeah,
But it's meant to purify the body, spirit, and soul, so that you'll also be able to feel what does a poor person feels like when he has nothing to eat. So it's more of introspection also.
And also, I think personally, it's also a very healthy practice.
Correct.
Diba? So it's really parang cleaning your system and also your mind and all that. And parang the discipline of abstinence, diba? Na not eating, not parang falling into the trap of parang being tempted.
Yes. Diba? And it's very humbling experience. Parang, oh my gosh, ganito pala experience ng hindi ka kumakain and all that. But, during that period, hindi ka lang naman hindi kumakain, but you also pray. That's what it's meant to be.
Kasi very spiritual talaga yung practice. No? Hindi naman siya nagpapagutom ka for the reason na nagpapagutom ka. There's a really
nagda-diet lang.
Nagda-diet lang.
Oo. It's a spiritual practice. So, yung halimbawa yung sa mga iftar and yung mga Ramadan, basically gano'n rin yung fasting, and then after that, you partake together. So, for example, in Quran, there's something about sunnah, eating with the hand, because that's how Prophet Muhammad ate, yung mga 3 fingers and all that. Kasi yung mga left hand, that's what the evil uses, and all that. And then, when you eat with your hand, sa akin, kahit na tayo pag nagkakamay, di ba? Parang there's no intervention of receiving grace from the food to the divine, di ba? At the same time, yung sa kanila, yung sunnah, you also lick whatever is left in your hand because those are still residues of blessing. So, wala ka dapat tinatapon. Walang natitira na pagkain.
So talagang, alam mo, very interesting kasi yung usapan kasi ng ganyang pangabilib, especially in the usaping halal, no? Like, we've been talking about halal for the last decade, no? And it's only now na medyo nagiging mainstream siya at nagkakaroon ng clearer policy. Hindi pa naman masyadong clear ba? Clearer policy on halal integration. Like, even dito sa Metro Manila, meron ng mga halal na establishment, so little by little. Kasi the opportunity, kasi I also want to like circle back into the fact that being an ambassador for tourism, na the opportunity for tourism from our neighbors in Southeast Asia,
malaki yun,
sobrang laki.
Opportunity.
Pero ang problema, when you come to the Philippines, wala masyadong respect or parang understanding of the Islamic culture, where parang we're losing out on tourism to other areas, wherein the population kasi ng Islamic community is biggest in Southeast Asia.
Right.
Diba? So, ano yung mga dapat pag-usapan at dapat malaman ng mga tao with regards to the opportunity for tourism for Islamic mga
Actually,
visitors?
one time I was tapped by an airline company to do halal tour. Sabi ko, but that was 10 years ago. I said, we're not ready. There is no halal. Not until you go to Mindanao. So, Mindanao is ready, but not the other parts of the Philippines. Tsaka, titingnan natin, iba kasi yung halal friendly, iba yung halal certified. Yung halal certified, may certification ba, certifying body talaga dyan na it has to be checked how you kill the animal, there has to be a prayer before you prepare the food and all that.
So actually, you've been around and you've really spent time and immerse yourself sa mga communities. Especially nakikita ko mga posts mo at mga features mo, lagi kang nasa Mindanao, no? And
kasi I feel they're misrepresented eh. Parang ako din, I myself is guilty. Kasi dati I've been getting invitation, but I refused to because I was gripped by fear. It was the grip of ignorance of the unknown. So when I went there, I was like, oh my gosh, this is the culture I never knew. And then the food are like really sensational. I remember I was invited to a celebration. So nakaupo ka rin, nasa dulang, meron kayong bilog na parang maliit na table, and then you have so many feasts. And then kung halimbawa, pag mga...
Para siyang degustasyon.
Degustasyon,
Diba?
oo. And your centerpiece will always be the chicken pianggang, pianggang manok. Kasi mahirap siyang gawin It's very laborious. And then you will always have sweets. Marami sila yung mga putlimandi, yung mga...
At saka napaka-interesting kasi like a decade ago, hindi naman nakakilala ng tao ng pianggang. Now it's pretty mainstream.
Correct.
So ito siya yung mga nakikita natin na there's already an understanding little by little dun sa mga nangyayari and mga culture. Doon nakita ko nga yung photo mo, yun, a beautiful photo na sa Lake Cebu ka, di ba?
Yes!
Di ba?
Naka-full traditional wear.
Traditional wear. Yun, ano yun naman experience mo doon? Especially, doon kasi very grounded yung mga tao doon, di ba? Like, I had a talk with them during the Terra Madre and they're talking about the heirloom rice din nila.
Namamatay na. Ang dami pala nila.
Yun. So, parang hundreds of varieties of heirloom rice na around the Lake Cebu. Ano yung nakikita mo yung difference ng pananaw natin sa pananaw nila?
Yung sa kanila kasi, there's so much simplicity. Kung minsan nga, ino-offer ko, can I help you yung mga ganyan and all. I actually talked about it to Maestra Feliz. I call her Maestra Feliz Prodeta Santa Maria. Parang sabi ko, I want to help them, but at some point, kasi parang they're considered as parang fifth class municipality. When you say fifth class municipality, you're very poor.
Sa mga IP din
yes,
diba?
And because you're not able to contribute sufficient tax to the government. So yung sa akin, if I help them, give them something, parang am I altering culture? 'Di ba? Parang or should we just let them be? Otherwise, mag-iiba talaga yung perspective even as we bring them food and all that. Once they find liking into that new flavor, baka mag-shift
magbabago yung kultura nila.
I don't want to be a channel of cultural commodification.
So, napaka-challenging naman kasi talaga ng situation na pupunta ka sa isang lugar. Yung perception mo, ano yung kaginhawaan, ano yung kasapatan, ano yung what is fair. Pero within their society, as a circle nila, okay naman sila. They're happy and all that. Pero yung perception natin, ay, hindi aircon yung kwarto nila. Baka kailangan bigyan ng aircon to.
Tsaka natulog ako doon. Yung banyo nasa labas. Yung magigising ka sa kalagitnaan ng gabi, nakinakalang magbanyo na ihi ka. Lalabas ka, bababa ka pa sa mga stairs. It was very humbling, but for them, it's normal.
And there's nothing wrong with it.
There's nothing wrong with it. In fact, that's one of the tours that I encourage people to partake on. To live with the indigenous cultural communities, even 3 days, 2 nights.
How do you communicate that? Kasi nag-organize ka kasi ng mga tours ng mga foreigners, bringing them there to this kind of mga locations with different kinds of cultures. How do you brief them? Now, of course, kakaiba talaga yung mga practices nila, kakaiba talaga yung way of eating nila. How do you brief them on how to be culturally sensitive, how to not interfere in their traditions and all that.
So may proper briefing yan prior to the trip, and then during the trip, we reiterate what needs to be done. So it's all about respect, just celebrate, don't alter the culture.
So saan tayo nag-meet halfway, di ba? Like right now, there's a big talk about Philippine cuisine, nasa Michelin guide na tayo, and all that. Hindi ba in this conversation, bringing Filipino food to a global consciousness, hindi ba na-disenfranchise yung ating mga Islamic na mga communities, ang ating mga indigenous communities sa usaping Filipino food?
Yung punto ko lang sa Michelin, I don't think we need an international award-giving body to validate our food. But for me, I'm also a tourism practitioner. If that's what it takes to drive tourism traffic, then so be it. Kasi they have, pag yung brand kasi ng Michelin is very global. Is that what, if that's what it takes to bring in warm body to come to the Philippines for food exploration, then so be it.
So it's
Pero
very
kasi,
strategic.
Very strategic, and it's also marketing and promotions, and there are also corresponding investment for that. And the Department of Tourism cannot, invest on a national level. So you just have to choose because we don't really have much funds naman as compared to our neighboring countries. It's marketing and promotion.
It's marketing and promotion.
And choose.
And if you do it correctly, malaki din yung balik natin sa...
Yes, may ROI.
May ROI.
Kasi nakausap ko yung may na-awardan ng Michelin. Every night, they're fully booked. Ang ganda nung traffic
Yeah. Even ang experience namin sa Lore, talagang sobrang laki ng impact sa
diba?
sales and attention and all that.
And then Philippine Airlines came up with a campaign also about the Michelin star. It's an international campaign. So, maraming tumutulong.
So, ito, like, we're talking of all this food, the different food practices based on different religions, different mga pananaw, different cultures. How do we unify all this in the Filipino table? Na paano natin ipagkaisa to with all our differences and all that and say that this is what Filipino food is? How do we connect to a culture so diverse na kahit tayong mga Pilipino, hindi natin nare-recognize yung ibang mga putahe or mga practices.
Yung sa Filipino food setting, it's always a feast. So we just have to make sure that everything is represented, at least a key from each, at least Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. Especially dun sa Muslim Mindanao, pag tinatanong ako after my trip to Bangsamoro, pag tinanong what's your favorite cuisine, ang sinasabi ko, it's Bangsamoro. Siguro kasi lately ko lang siya na-discover. Ang ganda-ganda ng layering of flavor.
How would you characterize yung Bangsamoro cuisine?
There's so much layering of flavor that sometimes you don't identify. If you don't see the process how they cook, kahit na marunong magluto, hindi mo alam saan ang galing yun, di ba?
Kasi iba yung ingredients, iba yung mga techniques.
Yung palapa,
and
iba.
Also, when you talk of Bangsamoro, multicultural din sila. It's not just one tribe, di ba? It's different tribes as well.
Tsaka may distinct cuisine talaga per province.
And ako, for me, definitely, tama yung sinabi mo na parang we have to treat Filipino food as a feast, di ba? Kahit tayo within our own homes, pag naghahain tayo, we are considerate. Si Lola, hindi natin alatan kasi bawal sa kanya maalat. Ito si Bunso, allergic sa hipon, hindi natin lalagyan. So, that kind of
consciousness.
Di ba? Consciousness, respect, di ba? Ipapasok din natin to accommodate everyone else into the table. So, ako, napakagandang insight yung metaphor of the Filipino table, no? Na just to embrace all the different cultures and traditions and beliefs na we can share a table and enjoy it and be one. Parang isa tayong pamilya.
Yes, it's a unifying feast.
And ito, napaka-interesting. And I would just like to take this opportunity to give you a copy or another copy.
Wow!
Pwede mo ibigay sa iba to.
Yes.
Ang aking book, Pinasimple. Yan, available to siya online and sa major bookstores. Yan. For you, Klang, thank you very much for your time.
I really love the name. It's so clever. Pinasimple. Simple is the brand and Pinas reflects the country. How clever are you?
Very clever, of course. Diba? And also, I will give you this opportunity to promote your own platforms.
Yes.
And may book din to. Tingnan, may sticker, mga best in the world ito. Hindi to basta-basta to si Klang.
So, nanalo tayo. Pareho mo, no?
Actually, si Klang ang official na taga-tanggap ng aking mga international award. Kasi siya bumibiyahe. Ako yung bumibiyahe. So, siya yung umakyat sa stage to receive.
Oo nga, pinagpapapicture para meron siyang pang-post. O, diba? Kasi yung Gourmand Awards, it's an international award-giving body. It's like the Olympics and Oscars of books. Participated by over 200 countries, di ba? May different categories. For us to make it there, it's really a big achievement, no? So, itong Philippine Food Holidays, ginawa ko to. It's the first do-it-yourself heritage food guide from Luzon, Visayas, and Mindanao. At nanalo siya na Best Food Tourism Book in the World. O, di ba? All you have to do is follow the trail from the perspective of a gastronomy tour operator. My contact details. All you have to do is follow the trail. And then I also wrote 5 books on the secret kitchens of Samar. Available siya by next year. Nanalo naman siya as Best Regional Book in the World and Best Publisher in the World in the series category.
Diba? Galing, diba? Ibang level.
Yes, thank you.
Congratulations.
And sana continue to patronize, Filipino books. Kinakailangan niya, so we may continue writing. Diba? Because what we write today can be the history of tomorrow.
Yeah.
So in our own ways, this is our own contribution.
At sobrang ganda, no? Through the years, nakikita talaga natin evolution of our work, the
Yes.
evolution of our thinking. The more we
Yes.
learn, the more we enrich also the stories
Correct.
we
Yes.
share.
Mm-mm.
Thank you very much.
Thank
lang.
you
Parang feeling ko
also.
dapat mag-second edition pa tayo dito.
Yes.
Kasi parang kulang yung ating oras. Kasi
Yes.
this is just like the tip of the
Correct.
iceberg. Dapat ba iceberg yung ating metaphor? Wala namang iceberg sa Pilipinas. Di ba?
Oo,
di ba? Dulo lang siya ng ating dila or
Oo.
whatever. Di ba? It's just the tip of talking about Filipino
Dulo
cuisine.
ng tawi-tawi.
Dulo ng tawi-tawi ang ating napag-usapan ngayon. I hope you learned a lot about how our food relates to our faith. Very important yan,
Yes.
di ba? Very connected siya. That's a wrap for today's episode. I hope you learned a lot about how our food relates to our faith. If you want to explore more, check out the simple.ph website and our social media pages. You can also grab a copy of Pinas Simple, available online. If you enjoyed this, be sure to follow us on simple.ph for more stories. It's all here at Simple. Made simple just for you. This has been Chef Tatong. Thanks for watching our podcast where every story connects us back to our shared roots.
Simple.ph. Living made simple.